In the quiet town of Kivu lived a man named Eric, a widower with a heart both broken and unyielding. 10 years had passed since the cruel night when death stole his wife during a childbirth. He had been left with two fragile souls to raise alone: Nikita, a bright eyed girl of 5, and Bahati, a newborn with his mother's smile. Though grief clung to him like a shadow, Eric vowed that his children would never lack love or protection. And so, years unfolded. Nikita bloomed into a disciplined, brilliant young woman, carrying the memory of her mother like a torch. She told stories of her to Bahati, ensuring he grew up knowing the warmth of the woman he never met. Eric, though still haunted by loneliness, poured himself into fatherhood, and the bond between the three was unbreakable. When Nikita turned 15 and Bahati 10, Eric made a choice that would change all their lives. He decided to remarry. His children, understanding his solitude, gave him their blessing. Soon, fate brought Aziza into Eric's life, a widow with a strikingly beautiful daughter, Moseka, who was Nikita's age. From the very first meeting, Nikita and Moseka clung to each other as if they had always been sisters. But behind Aziza's polite smile lurked something dangerous, something only her eyes betrayed. She watched Nikita's every move with a bitterness she never voiced aloud.
6 months later, Eric and Aziza were married. The wedding was grand, the home they moved into even grander. A sprawling house with a gated fence, a wide garden, and tiled floors that gleamed with promise. But within those walls, cracks began to show. Aziza's kindness toward Nikita and Bahati was only an act for Eric's eyes. When he left for work each morning, the mask fell. Nikita was made to scrub and toil, while Moseka was pampered like a princess. Money meant for all the children found its way into Moseka's wardrobe. Nikita swallowed her pain and silenced Bahati whenever he wanted to tell their father, choosing instead to protect his fragile happiness. Still, Nikita and Moseka's friendship endured like fire in the rain. They went to university together, both pursuing medicine, inseparable, despite Aziza's attempts to divide them. It was in her final year that Nikita met Jabari, a tall young doctor with piercing brown eyes and a gentle strength. Their bond grew slowly, steadily, until love blossomed. When Jabari asked to meet her family, Nikita's heart trembled with fear. She remembered Aziza's cruelty, but with courage, she agreed. What she did not know was that her stepmother was already plotting.
Moments later, her laughter turned into screams. She clutched her stomach, blood spilling from her lips, eyes wide with terror. "Mamaya, my stomach is burning," she cried. Panic swept the room. Eric called an ambulance, while Jabari, recognizing the signs of poisoning, shouted for them to hurry. In agony, Moseka turned to Nikita, whispering, "Why did you poison me?" Her words stabbed Nikita like a blade. "I didn't," she sobbed. I didn't. Why would I poison my own food?" And then, every eye turned to Aziza. Her mask crumbled. She fell to her knees, tears streaking her face. "It was meant for Nikita," she confessed, trembling. "I couldn't stand her taking everything, her brilliance, her father's love, even a doctor for a husband. I thought if she were gone, my daughter would finally shine. I didn't know fate would punish me instead." The ambulance came, but it was too late. Moseka died in the hospital, her future stolen by her own mother's hand. Aziza was arrested, tried, and sentenced to 40 years in prison, a lifetime to reflect on how her jealousy devoured the very child she sought to protect. Nikita was shattered, carrying the weight of survivor's guilt. Yet she pressed forward, finishing medical school, holding fast to Jabari's love and Bahati's support. Months later, she married Jabari, returning to Kivu to stay close to her father and brother. Still, she never forgot Moseka. In every patient she healed, in every act of kindness she gave, she lived not only for herself, but for the sister who had died in her place. Moral of the story: Unchecked jealousy is a fire that consumes not its target, but the very hand that feeds it. Kindness, by contrast, costs nothing, yet saves everything. Please like, comment, and follow for me stories.